All right, greetings everyone. It is Valentine's Day, the day of love, and I want to talk to you about the way of love as outlined in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, a short but a powerful message. It's going to help you in your relationships. It's going to help you in your day-to-day life. And if you feel like you're just beaten down, you're not receiving your blessings, you're not receiving any miracles, nothing seems to work out in your life, I'm telling you, try this and it's really just gonna vanquish any problem that you have in your life. It's gonna open up all these opportunities that you've been missing out on. So let's jump right into it. If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, have not love, then I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and I have so much faith so as to remove mountains, and I have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I offer up my body to be burned, and I have not love, then I gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It's not arrogant or rude. It does not insist in its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they shall pass away. As for tongues, they shall cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love. It's a powerful message. It's often preached, given. The message is often given at marriages and stuff like that. See it hanging on the walls. And it's just a wonderful code to go by. Not only in your own personal relationships, but relationships with other people. Verse number 1 is talking about the banging gong or the clanging cymbal. And now the wind's not blowing right now, but I usually have these wind chimes over here that are just so beautiful, because they have a rhythm. And you see, love is the rhythm of life. And we're acting against the rhythm of life. We're acting against God itself. And if we're acting out of love, then by definition, we are acting by something that is not love. And that's going to be resentment, envy, all that stuff. Verse number 2 is talking about, if you've been bestowed with all these gifts, you're so smart and wise and intelligent, and people even say you're prophetic, right? But I know what they're talking about here. And you even got so much faith so as to remove mountains, but you have not love. I am nothing. Because it's not sustainable. You can go into a situation, you're cracking that whip around, you're getting things done, you're moving mountains, but at what cost? Are you making enemies? Are you making people that are going to carry on your legacy, because as soon as you're out of the equation, is that mountain that you removed, that you worked so hard to remove, all that work you spent doing, was it all for nothing? If you didn't do it with love, yes, it was all for nothing. It's all going to be squashed. It's going to be meaningless at the very end of all time. Oh, what do I got? A mosquito? Oh, jeepers. I got mosquitoes down here. We got frogs over here that are usually chirping, and it's just a beautiful. Now my head itches. Okay, so verse number 3 is talking about sacrifice, and sacrifice is something that I can relate to a little bit. If you don't know my story, I'll give a little bit of it to you. In 2020, I renounced all my possessions, and I gave up everything to go on the road and practice ministry. First learning how to be a minister, learning what Jesus learned, because he was on a pilgrimage for a lot of his life. And so I offered up everything, and I did it twice. I did it this last year in 2025 again. I accumulated so much. I had cars, I had tools, I had a house. I gave it all away so that I could go out into the world and be an instrument of Christ and practice ministry. But I lacked love. I had become bitter. My heart had become compromised because I let that bitterness sink into me. And on the worst days, when it was like raining and it was just hot, or it was snowing or something like that, and I was frustrated because no one would help me. I was frustrated because I felt abandoned by my brothers and sisters in Christ. Felt like I was abandoned by society. And not only I was abandoned, but all my brothers and sisters, my homeless brothers and sisters, were abandoned as well. And it got to me. I became bitter, and people could sense that in me. They could see it like a aura surrounding me. And so because I didn't have love, it just didn't work out for me like it worked out for Jesus and the apostles, because I really had not practiced that self-love and all the other characteristics of love that are described in this chapter. Excuse me. So he goes on to talk about in verse 4 and 5 and 6 the characteristics, love being patient, love being kind. All right, I mean, that's rejoicing in the truth. It hopes all things, believes all things, bears all things, and it tells you what it isn't. And a lot of these things, when we're dealing with our family members, we're dealing with our loved ones, we're dealing with our partner, you're a dang liar if you don't get irritable. You're probably lying if you say you aren't resentful for something that they've done to you. And that's not love. And when we're acting out of this way, I mean, we might be in the right. And they might deserve it. But if we practice that way of love, it's going to change that whole dynamic. I mean, there's some cases where it's just a toxic relationship. But even then, in those situations, you're being asked to grow. You've chosen to grow in certain ways. And so, pay attention to these verses, bring it back to this, read this once a week. I mean, I'm reading it for 40 days until I get it down correctly. Excuse the four-wheeler. It's my neighbor calling me. Harvey! Harvey! Great, my dogs are chasing the four-wheeler. All right, I'm just gonna trust that they're gonna be okay. It's a backwood road. I mean, it's a dirt road, so. They go riding with me all the time. All right, so, you know, love is like a blanket. True love, anyway. The complete love that he's talking about here. It's like a blanket that covers everything without judgment, with complete forgiveness, unconditional. And that's the way that we ought to love others. You know, starting with ourselves and then moving on from there. He goes on to talk about how love is eternal. And quite simply for me, what I get out of that is every species has a certain amount of love. Love is one of the characteristics of life itself. And even reptiles have love for the babies to some degree. And us mammals, supposedly what they tell us we are loving creatures. We love more than just our babies, and we love them more than just past birth or a couple of years. Okay, I think I'm still connected here, so I'm gonna keep going. But we are loving creatures, and that is gonna carry us until the end of time. And as soon as we stop practicing that love, we're going to be snuffed out pretty quickly as a species. And so that's part of what it's talking about, is love is eternal. And you know, hateful actions, mean actions, terrible actions, they're going to be forgot about. Books and prophecies and people, ideals, religion, all that stuff is going to be forgotten. But the only thing that's going to outlast all of those is love, because love perpetuates life and love perpetuates reality. Love is kind of like a skill. It's a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. I kind of think of it kind of like a sport. When we first start out in love, we are on a local high school level. We're just learning the sport. We're getting it down. We're practicing that self-love. And then once we get good at that self-love, then we pass it on. We start loving our family members, our neighbors, and the people around us, our friends, properly, right? And once we get that down, we get pretty good at loving all of them. We're good at it, right? Then we can move on to the pro leagues and loving our enemies. And see, there's a great power in loving your enemy. I'll do a sermon on it, but basically the principle is you're shining a light. That love is like a beacon of light shining down on the aggressor, exposing them for what they are to the world. And guess what? This world is a lot bigger than they are. So if you do it correctly, you get enough exposure, the whole world is going to see them, and they are going to just jump on them, okay? I'll do a whole sermon about that. But see, our love is incomplete, and in the end, it's going to be a complete love when we figure out how to separate ourselves from the mind, from the body, from the flesh, and we learn to make that separation, that this mind is not us, this body is not us, and we learn how to really connect with that spirit, and we learn that complete love, okay? And we practice, it is possible. People have done it. More people than Jesus actually have learned complete love, and it's possible. And he talks about looking into a dimly lit mirror. Okay, so when we're looking at the world through that partial love, we are looking at everything distorted and backwards. And when we learn that complete love, we are going to start seeing things like face to face for what they really are, what this world truly is. And that's a beautiful creation of God. Every stick, every tree, every creature, every person, we're all beautiful creations of God. And if we can start looking at life, you know, somebody once said, I don't want to quote who it is right here, but they said, if you can look at the world like this, the way you look, imagine the way you look at a newborn baby, your own newborn baby. All right. Now look at a piece of grass with the same amount of love and appreciation. And that is the complete love that it's talking about right here, that Jesus, that Paul, specifically Jesus through Paul, is talking about right here. And lastly, faith, hope, and love abide these, but the greatest of these is love. You see, love is so powerful that even without faith, even without hope, you can do such great things. And actually, if you have enough love, it's going to create that faith and hope. It's that powerful. Jesus accessed the kingdom of heaven, and he did that through the way of love. Through his Christ love, miracles and blessings rained down on him. It wasn't just because he was the Son of God. It wasn't just because he was divine. It was because he was practicing this unconditional, complete love that those miracles and those blessings would rain down. So heaven is within, guys. It's an inside job, and it's right here within our midst, you know. And once we learn to have that trust in God, it really does feel like the kingdom of heaven has opened up to you. Once we learn that love, it really does seem like the kingdom of heaven is raining down on you. And as soon as you step away from that love frequency, as soon as you stepped out of that Christ love, you'll see things being stripped away from you. And you step back into that Christ love and you start dishing it out to people, and you're going to see these opportunities and everything just begin to brighten your life. Brighten the lives of the people around you. Okay, so happy Valentine's Day. It's a beautiful, beautiful day to love somebody. Practice loving somebody. Practice loving yourself. And yeah, if you like this content, give me a like. Subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed. I got ways to support me in the description of all my videos. Have a beautiful day.